Welcome back, everyone, to Grand Tactician, the Civil War. This is my Confederate campaign, my first Confederate campaign in career mode, which is in the Whiskey and Lemons DLC for this game. If you haven't seen the first few episodes of this series, there's a link in the description below that'll take you back to the beginning. We have been ordered to move out from Fredericksburg with our small army of about 9,000 men, still under me as a colonel. I am waiting patiently for that promotion to brigadier general. I don't know when it will happen. Let's go ahead and visit camp now. This is a new feature in the latest update of the game that allows us to do certain things within our army camp. So we're going to take some time to kind of explore all of this and decide how this all works. It looks like we've got 20 hours of free time available, and we get to spend those hours accordingly, and then if we have any relevant companions, we can put them in there as well. I like this new feature. I think it's going to be just one more way in which we can customize our experience and gives them even more replayability to this game. So I like it a lot. So we're going to just kind of look over all of these real quick and see what they are and what they mean. I'm gonna explore them a little bit on my own. That way I know what I'm talking about before I narrate it all for you. All right, so let's talk about these a little bit. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm spending my hours in a day. So I have 24 hours in a day as a commander. I've currently put 8 into rest. That may change depending on what's going on, but it tells you what the average amount is spent for each of these things, and then it tells you what they do. So, for example, exercising the troops increases the perk experience. Inspect logistics improves supply efficiency. Down here, drilling the troops makes them more efficient in battle. Here we have motivating the men. This will improve morale. Engage in politics, improves your status and gains prestige. So these are all kind of passive traits when we're sitting around with nothing going on. So that actually helps with that, because in my previous playthrough on this as a Union commander, there was a lot of downtime where I was sitting around with nothing going on. So this gives us something to do with that. Improve your military thinking and attributes. Here, consulting subordinates, that builds trust between you and them and increases their attributes in carrying out your orders. Yeah, I think, we actually will spend 2 hours in that for now. Leisure time makes implementing the various things go faster. So I'll put 2 hours into that. Honestly, I want to go back and I want to actually look at my army for a minute because I want to think through this a little bit. One of them actually allows us to recruit troops faster. So most of our regiments are pretty well fully stocked. I mean, they're all up in the 900s, so there's really no reason for me to do that. It wouldn't make a lot of sense to do that at the moment. Looking at the perks for each of these units, a lot of them haven't even begun to earn any perks yet. Most of them are pretty low on that, so that might be helpful to start leveling those things up. And then looking at myself for a second, you can see here, let's see, what do I have? 1 star in terms of, you know what, we got to minimize this. 1 star fame, 1 star initiative, 1.5 stars of leadership, 3 of administration, 2 of cunning. So we could use some help there. But honestly, right now, I'm thinking we'll see how quickly this gains prestige. We're going to do 4 hours in that one per day. Morale wouldn't be a bad thing, but I don't think our morale's bad right now. Recruitment I don't think's necessary. Exercising the troops might not be bad. I would love to start getting perks for those units. I'm going to put 4 hours there. That leaves me with 4 hours left. Supply efficiency, I don't know if that's a problem for us at the moment. Disregarding certain duties may lead to certain motivating the men. Yeah, like I said, I don't think morale is a big issue right now. Staff skill, yeah, I don't think so at the moment. Military thinking and attributes, I think I'll put my other 4 there for the time being. We'll see how quickly that improves things, and then we'll kind of go from there. But we are on the move. into kind of a war zone, into a danger zone here, to Manassas Junction, where I think we can probably expect to get involved in combat sooner rather than later. And there we go. And it looks like we've got a nice advantage in numbers to start out. And our morale is actually, we do have some units with low morale. Or actually, no, that's the Army of the Potomac, not us. Our army's in good shape. So once we arrive, we're going to give an advantage in manpower to the army. I'm going to take my army to the Old Town Road. I'm going to ride till I can't no more. I've been ordered to Old Town Road, so hope I don't get demonetized for singing that. I'm already ahead of there, so it seems kind of counterproductive to move back. But we have orders. So I think what I'll do, where's the Union coming from? I can't even, they're coming from over here. So a good chance if we do run into them, it's going to be somewhere along here because they're going to be coming for this objective. So seems like it would make a lot of sense on my part. I'll send one division back there, but it seems like it would make a lot of sense on my part to cover this bridge and maybe even dig in over there because there's really nowhere he can come at us over here. So I got 100 prestige points just for moving that division onto the objective. So now what I've done is I've sent my cavalry up here to take the map objective to start earning points for the army. And then I'm going to go ahead and assume he's going to come down this way toward that objective at some point. So we're going to start digging in right around here and hope that is exactly where we need to be in order to cover his movement. I just noticed that there are potential crossings here for pontoon bridges on this side, so it's not quite as simple as I would have liked it to be. In fact, we're going to have to cover this side just in case that's where he goes. And trust this other army will cover the objective. And of course, here comes the Union Army just as I start moving my division away from there. They start arriving on that road. I am still going to pull my cav over here just in case somebody shows up on that side. I can at least try to slow them down. But I'm going to rush this division back over here again. And we're going to try to cover the Union Army as he moves in towards this objective. Come on, Humphreys, turn him back around. Oh, I'm so frustrated that I decided to make that move. Thankfully, we are at least firing on him a little bit. Cavalry's moving. Humphreys' division, or brigade, is moving back into place. Let's get my army commander at least somewhere a little more central for the army. And let's hope that these guys, okay, they are going to start moving up toward the objective. So all we got to do is hold while the Union Army moves into position. We're going to start. No, I didn't mean to do that at all. I'm going to start putting skirmishers out, which is what I meant to do. Come on, Humphreys, get there. Yeah, I know the enemy's vanguard is coming. Engage at will. Let's see if any of these guys come down this way. Our skirmishers are opening up. They're going to try to bottle these guys up a little bit. That's actually going to help me buy a little time to get the rest of my forces back into place. All right, there's my cav going down just to cover this area over here in case he gets any bright ideas. Right now the numbers are pretty even for both armies. We have a slight advantage in numbers, but I do believe we have another army that hasn't arrived on the field yet. That's the Army of the Potomac that's not here yet. Or no, it's not. Army of the Shenandoah, they're 22 hours away. That's who we're waiting on. Army of the Potomac's the one that's right here to my right. I'm going to send these guys over here into this gap. All right, skirmishers, keep bottling them up. Let's send these ones up here. And then we'll sit tight. So far, things are going about as well as they can. So the Army of the Potomac has charged headlong into the Union forces, which is fine with me. I'm just going to sit here and guard along this river. I'm not going to spend anything this time on taking over other units. I'm just going to sit here and just kind of bottle that prestige a little bit that I've been earning. It looks like there are some cavalry units that are coming toward my crossing. Thought I sent out some skirmishers over here. Not sure where they are. All right, we're gonna have to move forward because we're not in range. He's just kind of taking pot shots at us right now because we're not in range to hit him with these mixed muskets. I'm going to send my skirmishers that are over here a little closer toward him. All right, there's my skirmishers going forward now. So now, looks like Pemberton's going to be able to open up on this cavalry as they get near that crossing. My skirmishers will cover the front here. And now it looks like 5th Maryland is able to fire on them as well. So we've got a decent amount of firepower going at them at the moment. Most of my right flank is really not engaged other than skirmishers. Like I said, I'm going to send Wood's detachment over this way to fire on the 2nd West Virginia Cav a little bit. So far, pretty low casualties on both sides. Morale for my army is much higher than his. Well, I wasn't completely wrong. Whether or not he's going to try to effect a crossing over here is the question, but there is a unit of Union cavalry running down this road, which makes me wonder if he's an advanced scout for some infantry that may come down that side as well. Let's take a look and see. It's 11:20 in the morning. How are we on 20 hours? So it's going to be the next day, next morning, tomorrow morning before Army of the Shenandoah arrives. So we're going to be basically facing even odds until then. All right, looks like the Cavs falling back. There is infantry over there, as I expected. So I think there's enough here now with the Army of the Potomac that I can go ahead and send this brigade across over here just in case, because I'm starting to feel that pressure a little bit. There is infantry coming down here. I don't know if and when he'll be able to cross somewhere here. It shows pontoon bridges, but I don't know if those are actually built or if he has to go in there and build those. Exactly how that works, we're going to find out here in a second. But in the meantime, we got to get Walker moving. We'll see here in just a second what the situation is with this cav. If they're able to cross, then we know that those pontoon bridges are there. They are. Okay. So that's a problem for us then. Let's immediately get into this action. We're going to buy time while the infantry comes across. I may need to pull... I don't really think I can pull a regiment across. This is a desperate situation with this cav, because if his cav overwhelms mine... Oh, it looks like mine won that battle. Awesome. I was going to say, if it goes otherwise, then we could be opened up to infantry streaming across before we can get anybody over there. Come on, Walker. Let's get there, buddy. Double time it. I don't want a melee situation. I just want to fight these guys and buy myself some time. There we go. Halt. Just start firing. In the meantime, he has gotten on the flank of the 2nd Delaware, and that's a problem. That is a big problem. We got to turn this way and face them. I'm a little concerned about this now. Okay, now we got trouble on our hands. The 5th Maryland has broken. I'm going to send the 19th Georgia over to try and help stem the tide a little bit on my left, where he has really gotten at me a little bit here. We're going to send the 23rd Georgia as quickly as we can, but the 2nd South Carolina Cavalry under Patton Anderson has done heroic work. They've now broken 3 units. The 2nd Illinois Cav, they broke the 2nd Illinois Infantry, and they broke the 10th Maryland. But now they themselves have broken, but not before doing some great work for us. I'm not entirely sure why the 3rd Maryland is facing the wrong direction. Nor am I sure why the 2nd Texas is moving over there. I don't know what in the world has happened to my units, but they're suddenly like moving all over the place in places I did not order them to go. Hopefully 19th Georgia can get there in time. I'm going to send the 21st Georgia out here into these woods for now, but eventually we'll work our way over to get into position. I really wish the Army of the Potomac could get off their butts and help us out a little bit here. I feel like we're doing all the work. Casualties are 2-1 in favor of our army. I'm curious to see how that relates to us personally. Army of Northern Virginia, we've got 880 inflicted casualties. What is our loss in that time? Half of that, 428. So almost all of those inflicted casualties, that 1,000 that the enemy has suffered, thanks to us. All right, I've decided that the Army of the Potomac is just going to sit back here. They're not going to offer me any help, so I'm pulling my army back on their left. We're just going to dig in next to them. Managed to get my army pulled back, but not without significant casualties as he was sniping at my rear the whole time. So now, unfortunately, we've lost 1,000 men. We've inflicted 993 casualties while losing 985 men. So casualties are basically even at this point, which is a far cry from the 2-1 casualties that we were inflicting until we got overrun because we got no support from the Army of the Potomac. Now, granted, if I'd have stayed where I was ordered to go in the first place, then maybe the situation would have been different. But, well, that's the way it goes. So now let's see what happens here because we are into day 2. We should be getting the reinforcements from the Army of the Shenandoah. And hopefully the redeployment phase doesn't hurt us too much here. Of course, the Army of the Potomac redeployed. So now I'm going to have to wait and see what General Johnston orders me to do. Or is it Longstreet that's in command here now? Who's overall commander here? Beauregard. Okay. Okay, our reinforcements have arrived on the battlefield, and they're going to come in to our left. I may actually go ahead and sit back and wait. I haven't been given any orders. I'm going to wait and see what happens and where I can be of use. But if this fresh army is going to come in on our left and take the front that we are a part of, and we've got about 11,000 man advantage, then I see no reason to endanger my army further when we've already seen significant combat. Let's go ahead and sit back, let him file in. Let's watch and see where maybe we can help exploit things and maybe help turn the tide by some timely use of reinforcements. So it looks like the enemy's finally making his move on our left flank. There's an army there to meet him. Things are still sitting at about where they've been, but the casualties are mounting, and eventually the enemy, that percentage is just a lot more of his than it is of ours. So I'm eventually expecting the enemy's morale to break, so long as the Army of the Potomac can hold on the right flank. If they can't for some reason, then we may be called on to go help them. I'm going to pull Walker back behind here a little bit. I don't like him sticking out here in case they do break our right flank. I'm just watching those numbers continue to tick up on both sides, but it's double the percentage for the Union as it is for us. All right, we were not needed. Shortly after I stopped recording a minute ago, the enemy withdrew from the battlefield, despite the fact that things had not inched any more toward victory. He just thought better of it and pulled out, which actually makes a lot of sense. So it looks like 2,700 casualties for the Union, only 2,100 on our side. I like the fact that he pulled out before it got bloodier than that. It makes more sense at this point in the war that this would not go to a 5,000 or 10,000 casualty situation. So a decent amount of prestige for us. We may not see much more combat before winter quarters, but this is actually a good time before our first winter of the war to take advantage of that new camp system that we have to whip our army into shape and maybe get a promotion so I can actually command more than just 9,000 or 10,000 men. So this is interesting. I can spend 200 prestige to gain $500, but I also know that you can spend $200 to gain 250 prestige. So we could kind of pull a little racket here. We can do one to gain one and then spend some of that to gain more back. So I think we'll do that. We'll see how long it takes. In the meantime, my army's kind of settling into winter quarters a little bit here. We're just outside of where we're actually commanded to go. So let's go ahead and move into the area around Warrenton where we've been ordered and hope that we don't find ourselves in combat with two Union divisions that definitely are bigger than we are. What's the situation here? I think we're going to need some supplies. I just got notification that 5,000 Lorenz rifles were delivered. Whether or not any of those are available to us is now the question, because, man, I would love to get my hands on some Lorenz rifles instead of these things that we've currently got. I'm going to start with my units that have 21 months remaining rather than the ones that have 8 months remaining. No. None of them are currently available to us. So you can see here, actually, they are available. Awesome. 125 prestige to equip one regiment. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mix things up a little bit by putting some of these units that have longer enlistment periods in different regiments. And then I'm going to give them the weapons. So let's give the 35th West Virginia. We also have Augustins. How much do those cost to upgrade to? They've actually got slightly less range. 79 versus what for the Lawrence? 125. Those actually could go a little further in terms of how many I could get. But you know what? I like the idea of the Lawrence is better. So let's at least get one brigade or one regiment in each brigade with those for the time being. So now that we've had a little bit of time to spend here, we can see exactly how much prestige per year we can expect to gain based on the amount of time we're spending on it. And honestly, 4 hours a day spent on prestige to only gain 322 throughout the year, to me, is just not worth it. I feel like there are better uses of our time. So I'm going to go ahead and put it into something else, I think. Readiness, we actually have turned off for this campaign, so that's not even an issue. Trying to decide where else to best spend this time. I think maybe we'll go to drill the troops. I think I'd like to get them more experience somehow. Logistics, supply efficiency might not be a bad idea right now. And then we'll go down to drill the troops and put 2 hours into that. For the time being, we still don't have nearly enough to get promotion. We need 1,300 prestige to get promotion to Brigadier General. I was hoping as time went on, I would automatically get that promotion since I'm leading a division level command. It just hasn't happened yet. So there's our fundraising, which means we got a nice amount of money now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in, go back to headquarters, go to our actions here, and take that money we just spent and throw a party, gain the prestige back, but we'll still have netted a decent amount of money in the process. Let's take a look at my commander for a second here. We're still 1,200 prestige away from promotion. What kind of items can we get, and how do they benefit us, if at all? Family Bible increases piety. A pocket flask will help ease the nerves. Pack of cigars. Not sure what those will do for us. A whip makes harder and faster work. Decrease delays. If we have a flask, we decrease hostilities towards us. A pocket watch does what? Increases administrative skills and timely reporting, which decreases campaign order delays. Prestige increased with French binoculars. Let's do that, shall we? All right, cool. That bumped us up to 314 prestige. Nice. There's some Union movement here. I don't know if they're moving toward us or away from us. I am desperate. Where's my army moving to? I didn't give any orders to move my army. I've been waiting for this supply depot to get built because our army's severely suffering from low food condition, unhappy, low ammunition, all around just not good. Looks like those divisions are actually moving. I'm just trying to figure out why in the world my army is moving. I didn't give them any orders to move. I don't know if it's because of this fighting that's going on here and my guys are just moving away from it, but honestly, I want to stay right the heck where I'm at the moment. So I'm going to try to halt that order if I can. So really what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to keep going back and forth, fundraising, spending 200 prestige, and in 13 days I'll get 500 money. Then turn around and spend 200 of that 500 money to get 250 prestige back. Rinse and repeat. Just keep going back and forth. It's a bit of a racket, but over time it's going to help me build up both my prestige and my money. So I did upgrade some more weapons, and I'm going to continue to use my prestige to do that. Though really right now what I want to do is get more men in my army than the 8,300, which I'm kind of maxed out at right now. Until I get promoted, though, I'm not going to be able to get anybody additional. What do I need now for promotion? I need 1,100 prestige. So it's going to be a while before we get there. Due to your reputation and eligibility, you have been offered to command the newly raised Army of Virginia totaling 0 men. Why on earth would I take that command? The only reason that would make any sense is if that's a higher level of command than the existing army, which is a division command. If it's at least a corps level, then that makes sense. Although I've spent all that prestige upgrading the weapons. I don't know what to do. Show location. Let's take a look at it. I want to see if this is a higher level of command or not. Because if it's a corps level command, then you know what? I might go ahead and do it. Now, see, it's another division. Not worth it. That would be a downgrade for me. I'm getting some warnings about not having enough recruits. So I think we'll go ahead and... So military studies here. It looks like my attributes have taken a bonus of 4.47%. I actually like that. So I think we'll keep that where it is. What have we gained from drilling the troops? Anything so far? Doesn't really say yet. Training value minus 2.94%. It doesn't tell me a lot. So let's do this. Actually, you know what? I kind of like the idea of the training. I might reduce the hours somewhere else. Exercising troops, perk experience growth 40%. That's actually really good. I want to see, let's take a look real quick at our troops and see if we're actually seeing any significant. See, we're not even close on any of these perks. So if that growth is true, it's not really showing up. And maybe that's because we're not fighting. I don't know. But to me right now, that just is not a helpful way of doing things. So let's take that time out there. Let's put in a couple hours into recruitment. And then, what else haven't we really done yet? Motivate the men. Yeah, let's work on our morale a little bit. It's winter quarters. Morale's probably low, especially because of the issues of not having enough food or ammunition, and the weather sucks. We're into February of 62. I've been spending a lot of money to earn prestige, and we're at the place now where I've got 956 prestige, which is enough to get a brigadier general's promotion, which costs 780 right now. I'm going to wait because it keeps going down, and right now what I want to do is I want to actually continue to kind of do the back and forth thing here. We're going to spend 200 prestige to get 500 more money. Actually, we could spend money one more time to get prestige before we do that, which means we can probably go ahead and get that promotion here soon. Let's go ahead and do it, and then hopefully that's going to mean that we're able to add to what we have. I'm hoping that's the case. It may be because we have a division we can't. Okay, yeah, it is going to allow me. I could actually create another brigade where I can add to the existing brigades. First thing I want to do here is get a battery for this last brigade that doesn't already have one. I don't have a ton of prestige right now, so let's go ahead and spend some to upgrade that. We're down to 61 now in prestige. So once we get more prestige, we can maybe add another brigade. Looks like there's a big battle happening here. Let's see if we can't get involved. It looks like it may be over before I even get the chance here. I should have paused it first. But I'm going to go ahead and march over there. Anyway. Oh no, that battle was up in Winchester. We're not in Winchester. If I just sit tight and my units get involved here on their own, I might earn some prestige, but I can also actually hit the assault button. Looks like we've got a pretty substantial advantage in numbers. If I hit auto, you know what, if I auto resolve, I don't know if we are earning a little prestige from this battle. Let's go ahead and just let that play out for a few days anyway. All right, looks like we won. I didn't get a lot of prestige. I fought like Napoleon himself and received well-earned glory and fame. Stuff of legends indeed. I don't know about that. I earned hardly any prestige for that particular battle. We're up to 200 now in money, which means we can go ahead and throw another party. Oh, I don't think we can do it while we're fundraising at the same time, so I guess we'll have to wait. One last battle for this particular episode, the Battle of Warrenton. And as things stand, it looks like enemy's got a few more men on the field, but we're going to have more eventually. Army of the Potomac is an hour away. I'm here. Army of the Peninsula is 13 hours away. Jackson's division 7 hours away. Army of the Northwest is on the way. So basically it's me versus the world until those other armies arrive. So it makes a lot of sense for me to not push too hard. Though I would like to get into place where I can maybe be in a good spot to defend in the meantime. there's objectives over here. I would guess that's where the armies are going to converge. So I think we'll, at least for the time being, maybe dig in up in here somewhere. Oh, it's nice to see I'm finally a brigadier general at least. Yeah, we'll start up right here and then we'll kind of go from there. First reinforcements have arrived. They're coming in from the same spot we did. I think at some point some reinforcements are going to come from that side. I would expect the Union's going to go for these objectives, but I have no intention of doing that. We'll let the other armies deploy first. I'm being a little kind of conservative when it comes to my small army right now until I can build it up into something where I can impact the battlefield a little more. I'm not going to take any chances and get it destroyed. All right, I guess the Union thought better of it and withdrew without a fight. That makes sense given the odds he was going to be up against, but that means no prestige for me. We've been ordered to a position up here to the northwest of Washington. It's kind of halfway between Washington and Winchester. New companion, you are religious, so when a priest happens to your unit, you decide to ask him to accompany it to the field. Excellent. I actually like that idea a lot. It's kind of like a chaplain. I have spent some prestige on a new division, which is going to be arriving here in the next 2 weeks, a new brigade, I should say. It's going to get us up over 10,000 men. I also, once I get some more prestige, want to add a second cavalry unit. And I'm going to continue making sure that our units have better weapons. Now that we've reached the end of the 1-year enlistment periods, all of our units are now enlisted for 3 years, though we did lose some men because of those re-enlistment periods. But that's okay. We're going to have a nice force now. I just spent money for another party. Once we get that prestige, we're going to further upgrade our weapons. And we might start building ourselves a decent fighting force. We're only into the spring of 1862. Long way to go. I really feel like we've got a great chance of having a substantial army by the time all is said and done. The main problem, of course, is that I'm still only in command of a force that is basically a glorified division, even though it's an independent command. So eventually I'm going to need to get something that's a corps level or higher command. But to get something of that size, we are going to need substantially more prestige. Although not a lot. I mean, Army of the Peninsula is a corps level command. That would only take 1,800 prestige to get there. One big battle could do that for us. Army of the Potomac's huge. That would take 12,000 prestige to take on that 33,000 man army. But that's eventually where we'd like to be. But we're going to wrap it up right there for now. Let me know your thoughts. Use the comment section below. We'll see you again soon with another episode. Thanks for watching.